275 profiles later, done. What's up guys, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to find and attract the best talent up on Upwork.com. So in this particular series, if you're just joining me, I'm walking you through everything that I'm doing to find, hire, and attract the perfect blog post writer for my particular blog. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 big questions you need to apply to every freelancer's profile you look at so that you can easily filter out those freelancers that are best suited for your project now and your future projects. But first, a little montage of how I spent 2 hours compiling all this information for you and researching over 275 profiles to come up with these 4 basic questions.
Okay guys, that is it for analyzing, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, run back upstairs, and tell you what I learned after looking at 275 plus profiles over the last 2 hours.
All right, so after those 2 long and grueling hours, got 29 invites sent out after looking at, 270, 280 things. So our profile. So let's go through what I learned. So number 1, why go through the trouble of looking at profiles? Well, it's because you want to go find the best talent and the best people you think would be a good fit for your job, because you want to reach out to people who are busy, meaning they're so good that they have enough work where they're not actively looking. So we need to go find those overachievers and pull them into our jobs. And then number 2, we just post the job for everybody because we want the go-getters to come and propose to our job. So we're getting the best of both worlds. The people who, don't have time because they're already all-stars, and the people who are rising all-stars being go-getters. So now what I want to do is talk about the 3 big questions that I came up with to ask when reviewing people's profiles. So this is out of the 2 hours that I literally just spent on camera for you guys figuring out what to look for. So we'll start with number 1, which is how they identify themselves and kind of what their experience is. So I'm going to quickly go through a couple of profiles here. You'll see I'm hiring a blogger. So I want someone who identifies themselves as being someone who writes. So for example, this particular profile, article and blog writer, perfect. They're identifying as the type of freelancer that I'm looking for. This next one, freelance writer and editor, perfect. Identifying as the type of person that I'm looking for. Then we have content writer and editor, again, perfect, right on the money. And then I have this third one where academic writing, content management, administrative assistants. So writing is in there, and I did wind up sending a proposal to this freelancer. But I want to point out that as you're looking at different profiles, you're going to see people who have //////. And we're not really interested in looking for a jack of all trades unless you're hiring a utility player. If you're hiring just a straight virtual assistant, you want to see as many slashes as possible because that means that person's well-versed and can wear multiple hats. But when you're looking for a specialized individual who's really going to own a particular role on your team or for your particular business, then you want to look for someone who's already started to narrow their focus, because I can almost guarantee that the person who has /////, as they get more experience, they're going to go, okay, well, actually I enjoy this kind of work, or I'm better at this kind of work, so I'm going to take off a couple of those slashes. So that's what you're looking for. Number 1 is the first big question is, who are they? What's their experience? How do they identify themselves? So once you've done that, and you'll see that in the search results, so it'll help you to know which profiles to click through. All right, going fast here because I know I have a propensity to talk on and on. So second, second, you want to be looking at their overview. And before we answer questions 2 through 4, you simply want to go through and say, how well written is this? And particularly if it's a writing thing, you want it to be written really well. So the way they present themselves is going to be pretty indicative of how they communicate in the future, because their overview is essentially what they're using. It should be considered their best work in terms of communication, because this is how they're getting business and they're getting clients. So this is their best foot forward. So if you see something in their overview that you don't like, then chances are it's not going to be a good fit. So that's the quality thing before you get into the qualitative of the actual messaging or content of their overview. So you just want to make sure there's no spelling errors or it's not written in some kind of weird, strange way. Of course, if that's not important to you, especially if you're doing all technical stuff, then, more power to you, but it's very indicative of how they're going to be able to communicate and their level of English fluency. So with that being said, question number 2, why do they freelance? And this is really important. I actually put that before experience because I want to know why they're freelancing. There are people who are full-time freelancers. There are people who are part-time freelancers trying to be. And then there are people who just kind of, I do it on the side. I tend to focus on those who are full-time or trying to be full-time because I want someone who's going to be with me long-term. If I'm just looking for a one-off project, I almost always just go to Fiverr. So when I'm on Upwork, I'm looking for someone who wants to join my team and be successful with me long-term. So I don't want someone who, has a day job and then does this at night. If they have a day job and they're trying to go full-time and they say that in their description, then great. But you will find people who say, I work like this during the day and then I do this at night. And then especially with time differences, you just need someone who's kind of in it to win it, who's going to be in this long term. Then number 3 is, what are they looking for? This is another way of saying, what are they passionate about? What are they interested in? So in this particular profile, this particular overview, she's saying I'm passionate, a truly driven writer. Being recognized by some great academic things, accolades. So accolades are great. You're naturally going to look at their past job. You can look at their past job performance, and you can look at their expertise. But really, the quality of how this overview is written, I would argue, is even more important than what they've done in the past, because there are so many disconnects between what people say they have done or what they actually have done and what they can actually deliver, because you have your own standards. So it's best to try and clean slate everyone as much as possible and apply your own standards to them, which is why I don't focus too much on past experience, because by reading this short overview, you are going to be able to glean a lot more information based on what's important to you, as opposed to going through all their work history and reading a bunch of reviews. So that's why I focus on the interest and passion, because I want someone who is actually interested and passionate about what I want them to do. So I just want to point out a few things before I get to question number 4. This is another overview. It's slightly longer. You'll find that most overviews are just a couple of really short paragraphs. But one thing I like to look for is how they hold themselves in terms of their own personal standards. So in this case, I have only one rule: to commit to perfection, excellence, and writing that communicates to all sorts of audiences. There's a tremendous amount of power in this, because I want people who aren't afraid to say the standard they hold themselves to and what they think matters. This particular instance, I'm really impressed because it's a girl. Sorry, I always default to he. So she's communicating to me that she holds herself to a standard of perfection and excellence. And we can always find out later whether or not that's true, right? We'll take her at her word for now, and understands that things need to be able to communicate to different types of people. In this next one, what I really like is I run and maintain my own WordPress-based travel blog at This is fantastic. Even though I'm in marketing, the fact that this person is doing something entrepreneurial on their own and I'm an entrepreneur, I mean entrepreneurial beyond just being a freelancer. This means that she already understands what it takes to run a blog because she does it for herself. So that's a really powerful key in terms of saying, oh, wow, you're doing something similar to what I want for yourself just for fun. So you're probably, hopefully, going to enjoy writing for me too. And then finally, we get to question number 4. And question number 4 is, do they understand their role in your business? So even simple lines like, I will help you build your business. On the surface, that sounds pretty basic. Like, well, okay, that's great. However, I use this as a really simplistic example because it's nice to look into people's descriptions to see if they're not just saying me, I. The more, in copywriting, we talk a lot about using you because you're trying to relate to the reader and pull them into your copy so that they buy your product or service. These overviews aren't really all that different. Now, most people aren't copywriters, so they're going to talk a lot about themselves because it's more of a resume style. And that's okay. I don't think you want to subtract points from anyone from just saying, hey, look how great I am. This is all the stuff I can do for you. However, when you're looking at people's profiles and you see someone, even if it's basic like this, that just says, I will help you build your business, that communicates to you as the person that's potentially hiring that this freelancer understands that what they're doing is they're not just here to write a blog post. They're writing to help you build your business. And yeah, it seems kind of basic, but nobody else is saying it. So good differentiation. And that's the main reason that I went and invited this particular freelancer to the gig, because she understands that she's going to be helping my business. Now, why ask those 4 questions? You want to ask those 4 questions because you want to filter out the people who are scattered all over the place, not really sure what they want to do or specialize in. Then you want to find those potential full-timers who, and I say potential full-timers, people who could potentially become full-time on your team as your business grows. We're just going to assume we're going to grow our business. Let's not be pessimistic and say, oh, I only want part-time people in case I fail. Let's dream big and say we're going to be big and successful someday. So we want people who are going to grow with us. That's number 2. And then the third reason you want to ask these 4 questions is you want to identify top performers and invite them and pull them in. Because the freelancers who are hustlers, they're going to be on Elance, not Elance, it's Upwork now. They're going to be on Upwork every day looking for new jobs like the one you posted. So you don't have to go find them. They're going to find you and they're going to hustle to get hired because they're just getting started and they're looking to be successful and join a successful team. So this is about identifying those top performers and bringing them in, filtering out those that aren't necessarily the best fit, which is why I spent the 2 hours reading all of these different profiles so I could find the best people I think are a good fit for the job that I have. Now, I just want to wrap up the video with 3 more examples here. So number 1, I was reading through this profile. Number 1, I like how much longer this is. You'll notice that these get longer as we go along. I'll show you 2 long ones in a second. But this particular freelancer, quote, writing solution designs for both engineers and non-technical project team members. What I like about this, particularly with writing, is it's showing that this person is able to take complex things and break them down into simple, normal, average Joe speak, which is really important. Particularly with writers, it's really easy to write technical stuff that nobody understands. It's hard to take technical stuff and break it down. So that's what I thought was really valuable in terms of a writer and their ability to break down complex tasks. So whatever your job is posting, you'll want to think about what are some subtle skills or side things that they could say in their profile to communicate to you that they wouldn't just do, okay, a good job, they do a job above and beyond. So this next one I wanted to include because this is where the star players really stand out. And it's because this is a really long profile. Not only do they have their couple of sentences saying, here's my experience, here's what I've done in the past, here's what I'm looking for, here's what I care about. They answer all 4 questions. Then they go in and they start essentially having bullet points of what they've done in the past or what skills they're good at, which is really cool. I like seeing these in the overview because it shows that they put a little more thought into it, as opposed to later sections where they can just kind of type random skills in and Upwork gives them tags they can use. I like this because when you see these in the overview, it means they took the time to think it up themselves and come up with how they describe their skills, as opposed to, templated things Upwork has for them. All right, and finally, almost done here, a kind of pro tip, bonus tip is looking for skills or interests that aren't directly related to what you're looking for, but could be helpful. So for example, in this particular instance, this guy has also managed social media accounts. That is a big bonus to me as someone looking for a blog writer, because my blogs are going to be shared across social media. So I want someone who understands where that blog is going. There are a lot of writers out there who, and this is also why I kind of steered away from all the SEO writers and went more towards the content marketing people, is because I want someone to understand the blog isn't there to just, get ranked on Google. The blog is there for someone to actually read it. And so that's a key distinction. Now, sometimes you're going to be looking for people who are just doing, straight blogs for SEO for some reason. I'm not sure why you do that, but if that was your thing, then someone who does social media wouldn't be a good fit because they're going to be looking at it at a different lens. So it's nice to check these things out. It's very similar to the example earlier with someone who already had their own blog. It tells me that they can look through a different lens on the bigger picture of what my blog posts are meant to do, because the blog post is just the beginning. It goes out, it gets promoted, it's going to be, splintered off. There's a bunch of things that we're going to have to do with the blog post to make it successful, other than just straight up writing it and praying for SEO to work. So that does it for how to find great freelancers for your next job on Upwork. And of course, you can go through the advanced freelancer search. I won't waste your time with that right now. You have all sorts of different options in terms of choosing what the ratings are, what their tags are, where they are physically in the world, all sorts of things to really whittle down who you want. So if you only want people in the United States, or you only want people from a particular country or region, you can do all that stuff. You'll notice that I went with the Philippines for this particular search. If I don't get good results, I'll broaden it. But that's just my personal preference. Over the years, I've had better experience with freelancers in the Philippines. And that's all there is to it, to finding and attracting top talent on Upwork. It does take some time. You saw that it took me about 2 hours to go through 275 different profiles, but I can guarantee you it is worth it in the long run, because you're looking for someone who's going to stick with you through thick and thin and help you build your business. So thank you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. And then if you're on YouTube, subscribe for more business building tactics and strategies just like the ones covered in this video. If you want a quick review of the questions and what to look for, be sure to check out the description over on YouTube, or check out the blog post that's coming soon that walks you through every step of the process. And make sure to subscribe, because I am going to show you every single thing that I'm doing to hire people on Upwork.com. So until the next video, keep building the business you love. Take care.